What's good, YouTube? What's good, YouTube? Coming back at your head again with another video. And today we're gonna be changing oil, because everybody needs to know how to change their own oil. You will save a lot of money in the long run, and you won't mess your car up if you follow what I do and you're smart about it. That's it. Changing your oil is key to the longevity of your vehicle. If you don't change your oil, parts are gonna get worn, stuff's gonna start going bad, and you're gonna be broke because you don't have any money left to fix your car. So change your oil. But that's what we're gonna do today. I'm gonna teach you how to change oil. So put your headphones in, get a drink, sit back, relax, get a notebook and pen out if you wanna take some notes. And so this is all the stuff you need. You need a little drain pan for when you drain the oil, obviously. You need a funnel to put the oil in and not make a mess. I recommend getting some brake clean just to clean off any oil that might have dripped somewhere that it doesn't need to be, or just for general cleanup. I'm gonna use a 1/2-inch ratchet with a 15mm socket on it. This is for the oil drain plug, and I have a 15/16 1/2-inch socket on about a 4-inch extension for the oil filter housing. Now this is my oil filter right here. Depending on what kind of car you have, you may have a cartridge filter like this, which means that there's some type of housing over it that you need to screw off. But most cars have the general canister type. I will put a picture of that in this video. But if you have a canister type, you just screw it off and screw the new one back on. But like I said, for my car, I have a cartridge filter. So I'm gonna be showing you how to do that. You need a rag to wipe up any excess oil. Again, or just wipe up any kind of dirt on your hands, whatever. You can use a rag, you can use a shop towel, old tube sock, an ex-boyfriend or girlfriend's shirt, whatever you want to use. But you need wheel chocks. You obviously need your new oil, and I'm gonna be putting windshield washer fluid in mine because I'm lazy and I haven't done that in a while, and now it's dry. You don't ever want that to get dry, because if you accidentally hit it too many times in the car, you can actually wear your pump out. But that's all you need. Oh, and if you can't just slide under your car, you're obviously gonna need a jack and a jack stand on each side to put the car up in the air while you're doing the oil change. Now you're gonna wanna locate the pinch welds under your car, because this is where you want to put your jack stands at. Now on my car, as you can see, it's cut out right here. Ooh, dang. Well, anyways, now on my car it's cut out. On other cars, you may have a little arrow somewhere along here that's telling you where to put the jack stands at, but GM made it pretty obvious that's where they would want you to put it, because the rest of the pinch weld isn't really exposed. So that's where you want to get your jack stand. So you want to jack it up somewhere, slide the jack stand under on this evenly, and do that on both sides to get the car up in there. Now, I got the jack stands under it. The front is lifted up where I want it to be. I keep the jack under there and I keep it touching just to put a little pressure on that, just for added safety. Now what you want to go do is put the wheel chocks behind the back wheels so the car doesn't slide at all, and so it doesn't add that risk of falling on you, and that just would not be, that's not good. That wouldn't be good at all. What you want to do before you even start draining the oil, you want to take cap off. Also, if you don't know what kind of oil your car takes, your cap should say, but if it's not, you can always just Google it and find out. But you want to put the recommended oil in your car. Just don't go off of spec unless you have a valid reason. But other than that, you want to put the recommended oil weight in your car. So that being said, take this off. You can put it up, set that up on the cowl so you don't forget where it's at. And then this engine cover just pops right off. That to the side, get that out the way. Now what you want to do is take the filter housing off. Like I said, all cars do not have this. Some just have a canister type that you screw off and you're done. But on my specific car, I have to take this off to get to my oil filter. So like I said, you want to get your 15/16 with the extension. And be careful because if your car is still really warm like mine is, this can be very hot and you can burn yourself. So just be careful when you're taking this off. Maybe use a rag if it's that hot. So this is the old filter. As you can see, the oil is pretty dirty. It was definitely time for an oil change. But this just pops right out. You can discard of this and then throw the new oil filter right in, because the new one pops in just like the old one popped out. So now I don't have the new filter in there yet, but I'm just gonna sit this on top of here. But you definitely want to have the oil cap off before you start draining the oil, because if you leave it on, it won't allow air to flow back through and you'll get, the oil will drain out in like a real lumpy way, and it's just gonna take a lot longer. But now that we got that done up here, and you can actually take your dipstick out, place that somewhere where you won't forget it. Now we're gonna go down below and we're gonna start draining the oil. Now we're gonna take our drain pan, and we're gonna go under the car. Now your drain plug is right here. It's this plug right here. This is that 15 that we need. So now we're gonna screw that off and we're gonna start draining this oil. You want to break it loose, and then you want to get your pan in place. Because this is going to start flowing right out. Now you want to unscrew this very slowly while pushing in. You don't want to pull out. You don't want to pull out while you're unscrewing this, because you want to save your hands from getting real greasy. So you'll feel it when it's about to come out, and then you hurry up and you pull the drain plug out. Now, you're just gonna let that drain out for a little while. You want to really let your oil drain out. You want to try to get as much oil out as you can. Now, when I do my oil changes, I actually let it go for about 20-25 minutes and just let it drip, just because I want to try to get as much of that old oil out as I can before I put new oil in. So we're gonna let this go, we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna be right back. Now back to the top of the engine. You want to just go ahead and put your funnel in there, and while the oil is still draining, we want to clean this out really quick, and we want to put the new ring and oil filter in here. Now, I already went ahead and I put the new filter in here, so it just pops in like so. I also replaced the rubber sealing ring around here, or you can just take something small like this, or a small flathead screwdriver or whatever, and just pick it in there and get it out. But you always want to replace the seal ring around here, because you do not want this to go bad, because bad stuff happens when that happens. So you want to replace that every time you do an oil change. It should always come with your filter. If it doesn't, go back to wherever you bought it from and go behind the counter and fold dude, because he sold you something that he shouldn't have sold you. But now this is all done and it's ready to go back in. We're not going to tighten it down just yet, but we can get it started with our hand. And now we should be ready to go back under the car and put the drain plug back in. We're just gonna go ahead and plug it back up. I'm gonna start it with our fingers first, so we know we don't strip anything. Now we're gonna tighten it up. You just want to get it snug. You don't want to crank this thing down, because if it breaks, that's just a headache that could have been avoided. Now we want to switch back to the 15/16 so we can tighten up the filter housing. Just like the drain plug, we don't want to over tighten this, we just want to snug it. We definitely don't want to try to crank that down. Once that's all done, what you want to do is you want to put your cap back on. Then you can put your dipstick back in. Now we're going to start the car. So the reason we want to start the car is because we want to get that oil to run through the engine, and we also want to fill that oil filter housing. So we want to do all that so the oil's all in place and everything, and we can get an extra, I can't talk. So we can get an accurate measurement of the oil level on the dipstick when we go to check it. So I usually run the car for about 5 seconds just to run through everything like I said, and now we can go check. So first we want to wipe it off. We want to fill it to about this last block. You don't want to go over, please do not go over. And I feel like I have to say this just because I've seen it more than one time. Do not fill this all the way up to the top with oil. That is not a good look. I'm gonna go ahead and check this oil level. And it looks good. So now, put the dipstick back in. Take this off so we can put the engine cover back on. Put that on. Oil cap back on. So now you just want to go through and double check that everything's tightened up. Everything's back where it needs to be. And jack it up one last time and get it off the jack stands, put it down, and you're good. So just one last thing you need to do. You need to reset your oil light. And to do this, I know in Chevys, specifically, you can just go to your oil life. I'm gonna press this button down. It's gonna ask you, are you sure that you want to reset? Yes. Boom. Also, another thing that you can do is put your car in accessory and hit on the gas pedal 3 times, and that will also reset your oil life. That's it. That's all you gotta do to change your oil. It's not that hard, and it's better if you change it yourself because 1, you're gonna save money in the long run, and 2, you don't gotta worry about getting ripped off by none of these oil change companies. I hope you learned something today, and I hope you can take this back, do it yourself, tell all your friends that you changed your own oil, that you feel strong, you feel independent, you feel loyal, you feel on top of the world. You feel like you actually learned something, because that's all we're going for. And as for that, this video is done. Goodbye, like, subscribe. See you in the next one. I'm gonna see you in the next one.